You cut a bagel in half, right?
A donut and a
The
bagel.
bagel is the top half of the bagel is the north, and the North Pole is in a center point at the center point of the donut, and it goes out in a 360-degree ring around there. And if you slice it as many times as you slice it, there's just going to be more and more layers of it. So it's and then the ground would be like where the Philadelphia cheese would go. And that Philadelphia cheese is the earth plane. It's the equilibrium between the north dielectric and the south dielectric. And south is also down. So the fields are going down below the ground. So hence, whenever if something goes up 1,000 feet, its equal and opposite south dot is 1,000 feet below the ground, straight below it. Because as above the field is, the so below. So so north is up, and south is down. And whenever you pull an object away from you're going into another point in space that has an equal and opposite one in the field, and that's why things drop and they accelerate on the way down and they stop at the equilibrium or on the plane. They're going to either, and if they smash into water, they're just going to go down to the bottom of the plane or whatever until it finally hits, something like Earth that's truly solid. Hence, it would probably go suck right down to its equal and opposite point below it, because it's down. It's gravity. It's what's pulling things down. It's the dielectric field. The north and south isn't 2 points on the map. North is up and south is down.
What about the magnet part with the dots?
With the lines up above the picture that I posted,
I don't know.
that's the lines where it says in white the inner dielectric plane. Well, that's kind of like the Earth plane where ground is or whatever, like where we live or whatever. And this is just the magnetic fields that are around Earth explaining them. You know,
So we got
they
donut,
just try to put
different
north and
layers,
south in a different spot.
up and
All
down,
you
cut
need
in
to do is
half.
put the south below the Earth. So you have the north above the Earth, the equilibrium in between the two, the north and the south poles. That equilibrium layer on a magnet. There's one on all of them. There's a certain spot where it becomes north and south, and there's one layer of equilibrium in between them. So no, they just picture north is points up and south points down, but still has its center point like a donut, and the north rings expand out from the North Pole, which is probably a big the old Black Mountain where the four rivers come out or whatever.
You said stuff falls at like 8 miles per second.
Well, it's 8 mile or 8.6 meters per second.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
just say 10 meters a second. So if you drop something from 10-meter high, you can go 1,001 and it hits the ground. But now the second it falls for 20 meters, double it because it's squared. So in the second, if you went to like 20 meters up and drop it, it wouldn't take 2 seconds. But if you went 30 meters up, which is the 10 meters that falls during the first second and the 20 meters that falls during the second, so at the third 30 meters up, if you drop a ball, a cannonball or something, it would take, 2 seconds to hit the ground. During the third second, something would fall 30 meters plus the 20 plus the one that it fell during the first and the second things. It's an exact equal acceleration, as if there was like an equal, why up and down is because north is going up and south is down. The pull between the magnets that we know when you can push a magnet around on a table or attract the magnet together where gravity doesn't have anything to do with it, the magnetic fields. Or that old saying, as above, so below, where they like to put everything in your face, like, aha, we know what it means and you don't. So, and it's probably the reason why some of the experiments didn't work with the ether because they're thinking the ether is moving one way and it's actually the second part of the ether is under the ground. It's part of the system. You know, the south part is under the ground and the north part is going up. And it's still circular map and everything too. You know, it makes it perfect. Just like a bagel cut in half. Air is the North Pole. Everything that's in air is north, and everything that's under the ground is south. So underground is south, and in the air is north, or up and down, or gravity. All the same thing.
Sweet.
And that's why I was saying, like, I put the next thing in there about water and stuff. You know, clouds are the one thing that seem to disprove gravity. But if you think about water is just like air. I mean, they're the two closest things that we know, and the only thing that really affects it is another one of the elements they tell us about is energy. Because, you know, you can use sun to evaporate water. You can use electrolysis, electricity to evaporate water.